Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Nick. We have Harrison. Sean might be popping on later, might not. We don't know. But how are we doing tonight, Harrison?
Awesome. Big night for baseball, Nick. How we doing?
Good. Yeah, big night, home run derby night, all-star game tomorrow. Before we get into all of it, make sure that you follow and like us on Facebook. You can also follow on Instagram. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, right off the top, home run derby preview. Who do you got?
Boy, this is such a tough one for me. This is such a weird group. We were talking about it before we came on the show. Like, I don't know if there's like a clear-cut number one. I mean, Pete Alonso obviously been here, done that. But it's a lot of new faces and a lot of young guys that you don't know what to get. So my gut reaction, I look at a guy like Teoscar Hernandez and think that's a guy who could surprise us. And I like Ozuna. Ozuna is just a drop and drive guy. I don't know. I'm tossed up. If you said pick somebody right now, you got to go with. I'm gonna take Ozuna just to be different.
All right. I was watching batting practice a little bit on baseball.
Oh,
tonight,
you were scouting.
so
I see how it is.
I was scouting a little bit.
Nice.
I am gonna go. Yeah, like you said, Pete Alonso is the favorite. He is the heavy favorite. But I'm gonna go Gunnar Henderson.
I like Gunnar a lot.
I think being a lefty in this ballpark might help him out a little bit.
I agree.
So, we'll see.
I agree. I think Bobby Witt Jr. is going to do better than a lot of people think. I think Alec Boehm, who absolutely hits bombs in batting practice, and the Phillies rave about his power. I think he's a guy that's going to be fun to watch. And Adolis Garcia, after last year's not terrific round, I think he's on a redemption tour. So this will be fun. I think this is going to be fun. And as much as it's not like the who's who of home run hitters, it is some guys with some power that are going to hit a lot of balls a long way.
Yeah, they were talking about like Bobby Witt's swing because he's so short and compact.
Yeah,
that the pitcher provides a lot of the power just because
Agreed.
he's such a bat to ball guy. Does he still have the power? Yeah, I'm not saying that he's a slouch in the power department, but I think that he might struggle a little bit as he starts to get tired. Where you have Alonso, you have Garcia that's got biceps bigger than my waist.
Ozuna, who's a man-child.
Yeah, I think those guys that provide their own power might do better. But I'm still gonna stick with Gunnar. I think a left-handed swing in this ballpark might help us out.
No, I think that's an underrated take. I think the left-handed swing, the ball does travel better to right in Texas. That's pretty well documented. I do think Gunnar, he has a home run stroke. Like he's got that long lefty swing. And I think that's an advantage. And I do think you got guys in Garcia and Ozuna and Alonso who generate a boatload of power. But they've got big, long, multi-step swings that cause you to get a little tired, where Gunnar's just so smooth. Yeah. I think he's a tough guy to beat.
Yeah. So before we really get into the meat of the show, like there will be times where we're probably watching the Derby and we're just like interrupted. So
if we're staring off screen and it goes quiet, it's just us watching the Derby.
So apologize to people that actually listen on Spotify and all the other, the audio podcast part of it. But yeah, we will be in and out obviously because we're watching the Derby live. But yeah, so I think it'll be interesting, and then to see how these new rules also come in. They have 40 pitches. It's still timed, but once they hit their 40 pitches, they're done. So you better have a BP guy that throws it in. If he starts struggling, I think that's added pressure on him to throw strikes because
and that killed Adolis Garcia last year. Whoever was pitching him, I can't remember if it was the pitching coach or if it was their usual BP guy for like his father or somebody, but a lot of pitches like outside edge he couldn't get out on, and it was a struggle for him.
Yeah. So
first of all too, Globe Life Field. I mean, you've been there, so you've experienced. This place is beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
This ballpark is amazing.
It's so cool too because the second deck seats that you're looking at is actually on street level, so the field is down in into the ground, which probably helps keep it cooler.
You walk and go down.
Yeah, you walk in and go down, and then you have the upper tier as well. But
Cool.
it probably keeps the field level cooler, would be my guess.
It does, and it keeps any breeze up above field level.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's immaculate, dude. It's so cool. But
amazing.
All right. So we'll keep going here as they're doing the introductions for the Home Run Derby here. But they did name the All-Star starters for tomorrow. We got Paul Skenes for your National League and Corbin Burns for your AL. So what do we think about that matchup? I mean, not that they're going to be pitching for a long time, but
these guys are going to get 5 or 6 outs and call it a day. So, I mean, everybody's been asking to get Paul Skenes to start. Everybody's wanted to see it. We're going to get it. Amazing. The hope was he'd go up against Tarek Skubal. Skubal pitched a couple days ago, so he can't start. Corbin Burns, though, here's a guy, National League last year, American League this year. He's pitched well for the Orioles. Was he my top choice to start? No. But Skenes versus Burns, that's a pretty good matchup. Like on paper, if you told me that's your All-Star game matchup, I'd be like, absolutely, let's see it.
Yeah. Just Skenes ride right now. Imagine dude, number 1 draft pick last year, and then like not number 1, right? Because Holiday was number 1. But I mean, ridiculous. Like you come up, you make 11 starts, you are dominating the league right now. I think it's a sub-2 ERA. It's just mind-blowing what this guy's doing. And then you start the All-Star game coming up a month late. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Skenes was the first overall pick because Holiday was the year before.
You're right. My bad. So,
so you're number 1 overall pick in 2023. Here we are a year later, and he's starting in the All-Star game.
Yeah. Absolutely mind-numbing. It's cool. But
it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch him go up against the best hitters in the American League because he's made everybody to this point look foolish. Very few guys. I mean, he got Ohtani got him back, but not many guys have got one up on Skenes, and now's his chance. Yeah, Jay. They always do. They pick these obscure singers that it's like, what are we doing here?
I'm glad I have the volume all the way down then. So
yeah, me too.
But yeah, crazy. All right, we're gonna keep rolling here. Rece Hinds for the Cincinnati Reds. My God, he comes up and absolutely destroys Major League Baseball in this first week. So it took Ellie De La Cruz 3 weeks to get his first Player of the Week, but this guy. Slugging percentage last week, 1.192. He was 11 for 26, a 426 average, 3 doubles, a triple, 5 homers. Also walked and was hit by a pitch. So 464 on base percentage. My God. If you're trying to get on a Major League roster, I think this pretty much does it.
He's got 5. He had 5 home runs in his first 6 games and 8 extra base hits in his first 6 games. Most by any major leaguer in their first 6 games since 1901. And yet again, the Cincinnati Reds bring up another guy who can absolutely just hit. I don't know who does their player development, but every guy they bring up just hits and they mash.
It's absolutely insane to just come up to that level. The moment's not too big, and you put up a week like that. Crazy.
He looks like a man amongst boys out there, and he's just absolutely destroying every pitcher, every pitch. He's hit home runs on fastball, changeup, and curveball. Doesn't matter what you throw him, he hits it, and he hits it a long way.
I was going to say, not cheap either. Like just
not
squared
a cheapie
up and
in the
driven. Crazy.
Not a single cheapie in the group, just mashes.
We'll get to it in a little bit about like the standings. We're going to kind of go around the league and, talk about surprises and stuff like that. And so we'll come back to the Reds, I'm sure, at some point here. But, the Reds are going to be a force here, I think, in a couple of years. They're still young. They have some key position players that need to stay healthy. But I mean, we'll see. But
yeah, I was really hopeful. I mean, I picked the Reds to win the Central because I was really hopeful that they would be able to put those pieces together. The young guys would play well. And the Reds have done what a young team does. They play really, really well for a stretch, and they play really, really terrible for a stretch. And then they play really, really well for a stretch, and they play really, really terrible for a stretch.
Yeah.
They aren't consistent. And that is what you get with a young team.
Yeah.
That eventually will catch up in time. But, they were not ready to take that leap this season. It was still too soon.
Yep. And there's still plenty of baseball left. I mean, like I said, we'll get into it. But first, we're going to pop back to Paul Skenes real quick here. So he was pulled in the 7th inning with a no-hitter, and he had 89 or 90 pitches. He's around the 90 pitch mark. Should he have been pulled? What's your take on that?
This is a hard one. We've talked about this before with some guys. I actually thought his girlfriend Olivia Dunn said it best. Like, as great as it would be to have that milestone and make that kind of achievement as a rookie, like, you got to protect the arm. You got to make sure that he's still out there long term. The Pirates have made a massive investment in this young man. They need him to be good for a long time. And they're not winning. They're not going to be a competitive team this year in the sense of like making a run for the World Series. So pushing him for a no-hitter is maybe not a great idea. So as much as I want to say you let him finish, I would always say let him finish what he started and let him finish the no-hitter. I understand the Pirates' decision to pull him because, look, a no-hitter at this point in the season, at this point in your career, as great as that might be, there's a much bigger picture at play here, and let's not push you beyond where you're comfortable yet. Because keep in mind, the guy was drafted in 23. This is not a guy who's been around the league very long. They are trying to protect that arm for the better days they see coming. So while I get the decision, I would have loved to see him stay in, but I know why they did what they did.
Yeah, I'm with you. You got to protect that guy at all costs. He is your only chance as a Pirates organization. I wouldn't say only chance, but he's a big chance to be successful anywhere in the future. Unless they do what they've done with everybody else, like Glasnow, gone. Garrett Cole, gone. But I don't think they'll do that with this type of pitcher. Because I think at this point in his career, yes, it's early. We're 3 months into it. He's got a higher ceiling than Glasnow and Cole, which is crazy to say because Garrett Cole is ridiculous. And Glasnow's no slouch either.
He may have the highest ceiling of any pitcher we've seen in a long time.
Long time.
Long time. Like he is generational talent level, and could be that guy.
And we saw it in college last year when he was just carving people up. It's like, this is
right.
Silly. And
it's just not right.
No. And to dominate like he has at every level and continues to do now, it's crazy. But to go back, I have no problem with how the Pirates played this, I guess. Does it suck for Major League Baseball and the fans to not see it? Absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
It does.
We all want to see the no-no, for the record. Every one of us wants to see the no-no.
Yep. And it is. It's your name is stamped in the history books forever when it happens, but you can't justify it at this point in his career. And we talked about it as one of our trivia questions last week. Tyler Gilbert. Tyler Gilbert throws a no-hitter for the Diamondbacks in his first major league start. Yeah. He records like another win that year, but doesn't get another win in the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, and everybody goes, Tyler Gilbert, who? Who is that?
Right.
And that's the problem. No,
right.
not saying 20 more pitches would have ruined his arm, but
right.
And the Pirates manager, after the game, handled it perfectly. When they asked him, did you think about it? No thought whatsoever. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because if I let myself think about it, I'm going to let him do it. And he's coming up to 6 more outs. They're high leverage outs. He's going to push himself through, and that's when guys get hurt. When they try to do too much, that's when they get hurt. So in his mind, didn't matter. He was coming out after 7. Game was done for Skenes. We're going to protect the arm. We're not going to let him hurt himself by pushing himself to get that no hitter. Totally understand, but it would have been amazing to see a no hitter.
Yeah, I'm with you. So,
and he probably would have gotten it, for the record.
I mean, the chances were high, but yeah. All right, let's take a quick trip around the league at the All-Star break, and let's just see where people are, where teams are, and if there's any surprises, if there's any teams that are like really standing out to you, not performing up to expectations. Let's start in the where we start all the time. AL East.
AL East. Here we go. All right. So look at the AL East. You got the Orioles on top by a game with the Yankees behind them. That's how I picked them to finish. Orioles 1, Yankees 2. I'm not at all surprised there. I am surprised how poorly the Yankees have played for the last 30 days. They've been wretched.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the way they gave up that game, the Orioles, the other day with Volpe's error and then Verdugo getting lost in left field, just not a good look for the Yankees. So no surprises there. The real surprise here is the fact that the Red Sox, who had one of the best kind of June, Julys of any team in baseball, are your last wild card or one of your last wild card teams, and only 4.5 games back in the division, led largely by their pitching, which was not supposed to be good.
Right.
And an offense that's been just dealt with a lot of injuries. So I think the big surprise in the AL East is the Red Sox. I'm not a believer the Red Sox keep this up all season. They've had a really good stretch here. They've also had a really good schedule. They're still not good against teams over 500, but they've had a really good run, and they've made things a lot more interesting than we thought they'd be.
Yeah, they're 7-3 in their last 10, and you got the Orioles sitting at 3-7, their last 10, the Yankees at 4-6. So they've definitely made up some ground on those two. The Red Sox are wretched against the left-handed pitching. They are so left-handed heavy. You got Duran, you got Devers, you got Hamilton, like all the guys that they brought up. They're all Masataka Yoshida. You just go down that lineup. They are all left-handed heavy. If they want to make a run, I guess, at the playoffs, they need a right-handed bat at the deadline.
Yes,
that would be my biggest take for them to sustain this success.
Yeah, they got to find some way to balance it out. And it's honestly offensively, they've been, they're good. They're not great. They're not an offensive juggernaut. They've been good enough. The pitching's been better than expected. But for them, it's the contributions they're getting from all over the place. If you ask me right now, team MVP for the Red Sox, Jarren Duran. Period. End of story.
Hands down. Yeah.
That guy has done everything for them.
Yeah.
And really, this team, when he really turned it on in May, that's when things started to change. He got off to kind of a slow start. When he turned it on, that's when things started to completely change for this team. And boy, did they need him to continue to be that spark.
Yeah. Hands down.
And the Tampa Bay Rays, 500 team. I should have been better, and the Blue Jays are who we thought they were. They continue to just prove that they can't put it together.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see what the Blue Jays do at the deadline, if they sell or who they move. I mean, Guerrero's been talks, Bichette's been talks. So we'll see. Alec Bohm with a 20-piece in the first round here.
Yeah, he is hitting laser beams as he wraps up. The Blue Jays went from 2 weeks ago being, we're not interested in making any moves, to, we're going to do what makes sense. So their tune has changed quickly to realizing where they're at.
Yeah. I mean, it is really bad and sad really, because the Blue Jays, we have said for years, they have the young talent. They have good veteran pitching that's there, and they just can't seem to put it together in Toronto.
It's too good a core. And I do think a big piece of what's gone wrong here is Alek Manoah. They were counting on him to be the workhorse for a while. And I don't think we see him as a viable MLB starter ever again.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's move to the Central. We got Guardians on top with the Twins and Royals. And then you got the Tigers and whatever that last place team is. I don't even know what they are anymore.
So can I just point out the fact that when we talk about surprises, the Cleveland Guardians have the second best record in all of baseball, and the best record in the AL. If anybody had that on their bingo card at the All-Star break, you win, because I thought they were a borderline wild card team that wasn't going to be able to score enough runs, and apparently I was wrong. They can score. They can score at the best of them, and they're good against bad teams. They're good against good teams.
Yep. They find a way to win.
They just win.
And I think they're my surprise for the league, to be honest. Like
100%.
We were sitting here in the preseason being like, this AL Central, like, are the Royals the best team on paper going in? Like, possibly just because they have Bobby Witt. But I mean, like, I picked the Twins because the Twins are always there, and they have been for the last, I can't even remember how many years.
A while.
But I think the Guardians playing as well as they have is definitely the surprise of the league so far.
100%. I think they're the biggest surprise to me. I mean, maybe the Seattle Mariners would kind of rival them in terms of surprise, but I
the Mariners were supposed to be there, though.
The Guardians were the Mariners were supposed to be good. The Guardians were kind of a big question mark.
Yeah.
So to me, the Guardians the biggest surprise. The Twins are who we thought they were. They're a good team. The Royals have come back to earth a little bit. 2 games back in the wild card, so they're very much still a factor, but they have definitely cooled over the last month or so. And
they just traded for Hunter Harvey from the Nationals. Yep. So that's a big arm in that bullpen that will bolster the back half that lineup.
My gut still tells me the Royals are there in the end, and they're fighting for that last wild card spot if they don't get it. But they've definitely had a bit of a reckoning the last 30 days. The Tigers have proven they're not ready yet. No big surprise there. They're very volatile, another young team. And the White Sox, I think, are just happy to still be in Major League Baseball.
It's facts. They're brutal.
Because they're going to be one of the worst teams in baseball history.
Yeah. All right. AL West.
AL West. Well, the Rangers, I think, are a disappointment. I say that only because we expected them to struggle a little bit in the first half until they got all the reinforcements back and Scherzer came back, DeGrom came back. But they've played really well the last couple weeks, so they're showing some signs of life. But they've got a big hole to dig out of. Yeah. The Astros dug themselves a massive hole to start the year, and here they are. Like usual, they're going to fight for the AL West title again.
Yeah.
And
only 1 game back at this point.
Only 1 game back. Great. I mean, they're 1 game back in the division and 3.5 back in the wild card. But they found the way. We've been saying on this show for months, they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there. And as many times we said, well, gee, should we change our stance? We said, no, they'll be there. And here they are. They're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Mariners were supposed to be good. And my biggest thing with the Mariners is they can pitch, but they can't hit. They are proving they can pitch, but they can't hit. The only team to score fewer runs in the AL than them are the White Sox. Their offense is terrible. They are terrible at the plate, but their pitching is the best in the league. And that's what it is. Like we said, they're going to have to win a lot of games, 2-1, 3-2, and they are. But it's not going to be easy for them to hold that position if they're living on margins that are that thin.
No. And the only thing pitching really does for you is come playoff time.
Exactly.
Right? And it does. You got to get there first. And if you can't hit, you're not going to get there. That's just how that is.
And that's the concern I have with them, is that when they get late in the season and the games get tighter and the pitching changes are more frequent and the guys are jacked up, are they going to manage enough runs to actually win that game 2-1? Are they going to lose a bunch of those games 1-0, 2-1? Because they've proven good pitching, they can't hit.
No. Agree. All right, let's swing over to National League.
But I will say in the AL West, the Athletics are not nearly as bad as I thought they'd be, and they're actually somewhat fun to watch.
Yeah. They have some good how many home runs did they hit the other night? 8, 10? 8.
Yeah, Butler hit 3 of them. They were all Rooker had 2, Butler had 3. Like, they were all bombs.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, and Mason Miller is electric, but they are better than expected. Granted, they're still terrible, but they're actually not a bad game to watch.
No. And they have some key arms in that bullpen too, other than Miller too. They have some other guys that can bring it. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, they're such a mess with everything going on behind the scenes too. Like, do you think they move Mason Miller at the deadline?
From what I've heard, no. They're going to want an absolute haul for Miller, and nobody's going to pay that price.
Yeah, I mean, it would take a haul, but I've heard rumors that Philly is very interested because they need bullpen help badly.
Everybody should be interested. I mean, the whole world should be interested.
Yeah.
I mean, because he is. Name me a bullpen arm better than him. I don't think I have one.
Not right now.
I mean, not at the moment. No. I mean, it's gonna be hard to argue he's not the best bullpen arm out there, and that comes at a premium.
Yeah, I agree. All right, NL East.
NL East. Well, the Phillies are good.
Yeah, very good.
Next. But I mean, the Phillies are lights out, and like it's not even close. You know, they're plus 110 on the run differential. I mean, they've outscored everybody. Like, I think everybody but the Yankees they've outscored. They can pitch, they can hit. They still are not great defensively, but when you're winning games 8-3, it doesn't matter. Again, I question this team in the playoffs though. Like, can they win a series against a competitive team? But man, are they good. And the Braves have struggled. The injuries have definitely taken their toll.
Mm-hmm.
Strider and Acuna have hurt. Matt Olson's having a wicked down year. He's going to probably put up half the production he had last year. That's like losing him basically. If it wasn't for Ozuna, that team would really be struggling.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy because the Braves are 11 games over 500. It's just that's how good the Phillies are. They're 8.5 games back from the Phillies. Like it's crazy, but you're right. With the Phillies, for me, it's kind of the opposite with the Mariners, right? Yes, the Phillies have the pitching, and Phillies have the offense. But when they run into a top of the line rotation that's in playoff form, are they still going to be able to score runs?
Yeah, they're still too reliant on the home run. They're still too reliant on the 3-run home run.
Yeah.
And, guys like Bohm, Stott, those guys, they've got some guys that can hit some gaps and drive in some runs more traditionally, but they're still relying on guys, on Harper and Schwarber to just swing from their heels and send one out. And it works. But can you do that in a 7-game series against the Dodgers or the Braves and win that way? I don't know. They haven't been able to get all the way there yet.
Right.
But if they get hot at the right time, boy, oh boy. But I would say this team is much more balanced than the past teams. The pitching is definitely better. The bullpen's still a little shaky, but the pitching is definitely better. But they've got to get it done when it matters. And then the rest of the division, the Marlins stink. The Nationals, I think, yeah, they were really good. They've come back to earth and they've fallen back. The Mets they kind of are who they are. But the Mets are clinging to a wild card spot, which I don't think any of us saw the Mets being a legitimate playoff team.
No, and there's still plenty of time for them to mess it up.
Well, I mean, they're the Mets. That's what they do. They're gonna lead you on and break your heart. But I will say they are better than expected, but a lot of it's come lately.
Yeah. All right. Central. I'll take this one because we have sat here the last year and a half being like, what the hell is wrong with the St. Louis Cardinals? Now, they're still not, I think, in top Cardinals form, but they're hanging around. They're 4.5 back from the Brewers. They're sitting in second place, and they seem to be playing a little bit better baseball as of late. Do we believe that they could make a push for the playoffs, or is this the Cardinals of last year?
No, I think this team is doing what last year's team couldn't, and they're finally getting both sides of the ball to work at the same time. The Cardinals last year, when they hit, they couldn't pitch, and when they pitched, they couldn't hit. And unfortunately, last year they didn't pitch well very often, so that those windows were small. They're finally putting things together where they're getting timely hitting, they're getting good pitching, they're in games. Because like last year, you look up and in the third inning they're down 4-0, and it's like, what happened? Like, where'd they go? Or they'd be winning, 1-0, and then they blow it late. Like they just couldn't seem to put it together. This year, like they're very consistent. They've come back several times. They're still a negative 38 run differential. When they're bad, they're bad.
Yeah.
But they're finally putting things together because the guys you thought would perform are coming back to life a little bit. Paul Goldschmidt, bad as slow. Just beat him with fastballs. But he's still doing something for you. But that team, they are now what we thought they'd be. They're a wild card team, and they're at least competitive.
Yeah.
Are they going to go win a World Series? No, probably not. But right. I mean, if they got hot, they could.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that they're now proving that they're not as bad as they were, which we've been saying, like you said, for a year and a half, that this is a better team than this. What's going on? It feels like they're finally catching up. On the flip side of that, though, the Chicago Cubs have taken a huge step back.
I was just going to bring them up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that could be my other biggest surprise was how poorly they kind of are performing this year. I mean, the Justin Steele injury opening day, I really put a damper on things like right away.
It did.
That hurts. Imanaga's a great story. We'll see him in the All-Star game. But yeah, them stepping back as much as they have is definitely a kind of a big surprise. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a huge surprise.
No, they were a team that was kind of on the bubble. They're a team we thought would take a step forward and be better and compete for the division. But they're really not any better than they were last year.
Yeah, agree.
And you could argue that they're maybe a little bit worse because you've gotten a lot of the guys that it's a lot of the same team.
Right.
But the whole NL Central, it's the Brewers from day one have established themselves as we're the best team in this division. The Cardinals have gone from the basement to climb up, and then the Pirates, the Reds, and the Cubs are just battling below them to figure out who's going to finish third. I mean, it feels like the Pirates, the Reds, and the Cubs, none of them are legitimate playoff teams anymore. I really thought the Reds, this would be their year. They're not ready yet. But these three teams are proving like we've got talent. We're just not there yet.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest disappointment is the Cubs for a couple reasons. One, you returned mostly the same team. And two, you made such a big deal out of getting Craig Counsell and firing David Ross that to go out there and do this, as a fan base, you got to be going, wait a second. Like, we had a good thing going. What did we do?
Mm-hmm. The Brewers, to me, are the Twins of the NL, right? They're not flashy. They're not gonna, they don't have like huge names. Like, yes, they have some great players on that team. Don't get me wrong, but they're always there. They're always at the top. Now, Is that because the Central's typically always weak? I don't know, but it's the Brewers are always there. They lose in the first round of the playoffs if they make it, and then that's that.
Yep, that's it. They're consistent.
Yeah. All right. Then to round it off here with our quick trip, the NL West.
No major surprise here. The Dodgers are good. They are very streaky though. They're 3-7 in their last 10 again. Like, they are up and down. 56-41, leading the division, 7 games up on the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks have finally turned the corner a little bit and they're playing better baseball.
They have.
The Padres are again hovering around 500 like they have for the last 3 years. They're there. The Giants are not. I thought the Giants would be a little bit better than they are, and the Rockies just exist. But I look at the NL West and I go, that's basically that's what we called it as. It was going to be the Dodgers and Diamondbacks. The Padres and Giants were going to fight for third, and the Rockies were going to finish a distant fifth. No real surprises there for me. I think what's most surprising is how bad the Diamondbacks were for most of the first half.
Yeah, it was shocking because it's for them. I've said it before. It's the consistency in which they score runs. Because I'm watching the Blue Jays game the other day, Blue Jays Diamondbacks, because the Diamondbacks are my National League team. I'm watching the Diamondbacks go down 7-0 in like the fourth or the fifth. They come back in the fifth. They call them the answer backs because they scored 7 runs in that next inning, and then they were done for the game. Like that's it. They score their runs in one inning, and then they're done. Like, it's so weird. I don't think I've ever seen a team that's like all or nothing for one inning, and then it's just like, all right, we're done hitting for the day. It's strange. It's like Corbin Carroll looks like he's starting to kind of turn it around and fix the holes that were in his swing. He hit 2 home runs the other day. But he's just not getting on base and wreaking havoc like he used to, because the Diamondbacks have a ton of speed, a ton.
They got a bunch.
They got McCarthy. They got, I just said it, Carroll. Marte can run a little bit. Walker's not slow.
He's not, and he's arguably been the best offensive first baseman in baseball this year, or in the National League this year, and he's not even at the All-Star game.
The fact he's not in Texas is an absolute travesty, but
it is.
It's nuts. It's nuts. I don't know. I don't know if the Diamondbacks quite have it. They lost Jordan Montgomery's on the shelf again. I think he's coming back soon. Not that he was pitching great. And then Merrill Kelly going down. So those are some 2 big arms that are pretty big holes to fill, because Merrill Kelly will give you 7 innings every outing of 1-run, 2-run ball and give your ball club the best chance to win.
Yeah.
And they're just not quite getting there. They're not consistent enough. And they could be. They should be.
Not.
And
they're too good.
Yeah.
They're too talented.
But I think they'll find it. They'll be all right.
So if I can wrap up with 2 closing thoughts, Nick, that are kind of the big surprises or headlines for me of the first half. 1, Chris Sale is still Chris Sale.
Yes.
And may win a Cy Young Award. Nice job, Chris.
Crazy.
And 2, the Red Sox screwed it up and Chaim Bloom had it right, because this entire roster was built by Chaim Bloom.
Yeah.
Houck, Crawford, Duran, Refsnyder, Hamilton. Every single person on that roster is a Chaim Bloom guy. Breslow got the job, traded Sale for Vaughn Grissom, who hasn't even played, and did nothing to the roster. This is Chaim Bloom's team and his pitching staff that he got heavily criticized for. And you've got 2 of the 10 best pitchers, maybe 2 of the 6 best pitchers in the American League on that team this year. Chaim Bloom had it right. Red Sox ownership had it wrong. Yeah. So Chaim Bloom, wherever you are, take a victory lap, my man.
Yeah, you just nailed it. You just crushed it.
I said it when they fired him. He had it. You just had to let him finish.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say my biggest takeaway, I said already, Cleveland Guardians being the team that we saw in the ALCS a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Just didn't expect them to be this good.
No.
Because other than J-Ram, your power is really not coming from anywhere else. I mean, Fry's had a really good year. What is it? David Fry, not Travis Fry. That's Travis Fryman.
Travis Fryman came back out of retirement.
Yeah. David Fry's had a really good year.
And the Naylor brothers have been really good. They've added some pop. Steven Kwan's a hitting machine.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimenez is even giving you more at the bat than he usually gives you. So
right.
They're getting contributions from a lot of people, and it's people that you probably didn't expect to be giving them that kind of production.
Yeah, but that's like the Sean, labeled them a couple of years ago like death by 1,000 cuts, because they were just like base hit, base hit, base hit, base hit, and you're just like, okay, stop.
They'll wear you out, man.
Yes, absolutely. But then you add the pop in there again, and it's awesome. So good for them. The Cubs slide is definitely a big one, but I'm with you with Chris Sale, man. That's nuts. That really is.
His stuff is so good again.
Yeah.
I mean, and granted, like we knew when he was in Boston, he was still good. but like it was just freak injury after freak injury. It was the broken finger. It was a bicycle thing. Like that. It was a combination of bad luck and bad decisions.
Yeah.
But like you knew the stuff was still there. And now that he's finally getting his legs underneath him again, he is so good. He is so good again. And that back foot slider is just driving people in the National League crazy.
And we kind of said that when he was going to get traded there, where like this could be a big bounce back year for him because the pressure of him being an ace isn't on him. If he has a bad outing at the time, he still had Spencer Strider. You had other guys that could stop the bleeding in that rotation, right?
Right.
And the Braves can put up 20 runs on any given night if they're on. So like there's not as much pressure as there was for those Red Sox teams the last couple of years to get back, to help the team because the Red Sox needed it so badly. The pressure, the market is so different in Atlanta that we saw that he could have a great bounce back year, and he has. It's nuts.
Yeah, he's 13-3 with a 2.7 ERA, 140 Ks and 110 innings, and a .955 WHIP. Yeah. Like this is a guy who is right at the top of the heap to go win a Cy Young this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've got him with a vesting option for next year, and he'll probably re-sign anyways and finish because he's 35. He'll probably finish his career there.
Yeah,
but he's been Chris Sale of old again. Finally,
agree.
After a 4-year break.
Yeah. All right, I have some new trivia for you today, Harrison.
Oh boy,
I have opening day lineups from 2013 till 2021. We're gonna go 1 year at a time. Just to give you a hint, they all are the World Series winning teams of that year. So.
Oh boy.
Who is missing from this opening day lineup? So who's missing from the 2013 Red Sox opening day lineup?
2013. All right. So you had Victorino, Ellsbury. Okay, I was going to say Gomes, but he was DHing.
Yeah.
Napoli, Gomes, Saltalamacchia. Boy, oh boy.
So the number of question marks also gives you a hint because I just replaced those with the letters in his name.
Oh, man. 2013 Red Sox left fielder. All the people I was looking for are already there. So now I'm like, oh, boy.
So this kid hit his way onto the team in spring training, got his first hit in Yankee Stadium. Usually didn't play left field. He was better known for his time in center after Ellsbury left.
Oh. No, I don't. That's not. All right, never mind. I was going down a path. That's not right.
He would not very good with the stick, but he would have like a week or two where you couldn't get him out. Or if you had him in the playoffs, he was lights out. Otherwise than that, he was probably the best center fielder we've seen in our lifetime with a glove.
Oh, was it Jackie?
It is. It's Jackie
playing
Bradley
left
Jr.
field. Like I was going down a whole different path, and I'm like, oh, glove. It's Jackie. I never think of him in left field.
Yeah, me neither. Crazy.
But when he first came up, yeah, he did. I'm 13. I forgot he was there that long.
I almost took Jose Iglesias off this because we had a carousel of shortstops there during that time.
Yep. And, it was revolving door.
But I was like, man, that one's hard because he was like only there for like a year and a half or so.
I know. And it was his return to Boston after being a prospect and then traded away and then coming back.
Yep. So, yeah, JBJ. All right.
Man, yeah, definitely one of the best outfielders I've seen in my entire life.
Defensively. Absolutely insane.
Unreal what that guy could do. And when you had the outfield of JBJ, Mookie, and Benintendi, there was no ball ever hit the grass out there.
No, absolutely crazy. All right. Who's missing from the 2014 San Francisco Giants opening day lineup?
Crawford, Arias. All right, Brandon Belt, Posey, Pence. Oh, boy.
This one's really tough.
I'll say, who played left field for them? Because all the players that like come to mind are all listed there.
So this guy was a big right-handed batter with like shoulder length hair. And I'm sure as soon as I say the name, you would totally know.
Oh.
But he played it for the Nationals a little bit too.
Is it Worth?
No,
not
not Jason Worth. That's a good guess, but not him.
Yeah, the other big right-handed, long-haired guy. But I'm like, no,
Yep.
I don't think he was in San Fran.
Nope. His initials are MM.
MM. Oh man, I don't know. You got to give this one to me.
This one is Mike Morse.
Oh, Mike Morse. Oh yes, I do remember Mike Morse with the Nationals. You said MM, and I'm like, Mike, it's like Marshall. I can't. I'm never gonna get it, but I remember him.
Yeah, Mike Morse. Crazy. All right.
He was a big boy.
Yeah. Who was missing from this 2015 Royals opening day lineup?
All right, Sal Perez. So Kane, Gordon. You're liking the outfielders, huh?
Yeah, I thought they were kind of the toughest ones to get.
Yeah, thanks.
Almost blurred out Omar Infante, but
that would have been rough because that was another position that was a revolving door for the Royals.
That's a hard one.
That is a hard one.
This guy spent most of his time in Toronto and the White Sox.
Back in 2015. Okay. Boy.
No, this is a thinker.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember that. Trying to think back to that team. I actually followed this team quite a bit because they were a lot of fun to watch in 2015.
Yeah.
After coming so close in 14.
Right. This is Alex Rios.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. That spent bulk of his career in Chicago and Toronto. Yep. But yeah, Alex Rios.
Yeah, he was good for them.
All right. Who's missing from this 2016 Cubs opening day lineup? So shortstop here.
Gotta be Dansby Swanson.
It is Dansby Swanson. No. Get out of here.
I mean, the letters line up. He was nowhere near the Cubs, but
no, he might not have even been born yet.
Oh, stop it.
So who was the shortstop before Javi Baez? That's your clue.
I know.
This one's gonna kill you too if you don't get it.
It is gonna kill me. I'm trying to think back to who it was. 2016 Cubs. Before Javi Baez. It's not the dude that got arrested, is it?
I don't know who the dude that got arrested is.
No, he played second base.
His initials are AR. If that helps.
Is it Addison?
It is. Addison Russell.
Thank you.
Yep.
Pretty sure he got arrested. Russell. Didn't he get arrested? Isn't that why was that a baseball?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't hear that. It could have. No idea.
Hold on. I'm looking it up.
All right. Meanwhile, Teoscar's got 15 bombs. All his bonus outs left.
Domestic abuse. He was like a multiple-time offender, and they dumped him.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
That's right, because he was like the next big thing. Then all of a sudden he was gone.
Yep. All right. Who's missing from this 2017
right field again, huh?
Astros opening day lineup? Dude, you never would have gotten Nori Aoki.
No, so I was goodness gracious, no.
I can't. Right. So
I might have gotten Carlos Correa, though. I mean,
yeah, you can get this guy.
It's too soon. Sure. It's too soon for Tucker.
Yes, it's before Tucker.
I'm trying to, who played out there before Tucker?
Oakland A's, Boston Red Sox.
Oh, Reddick?
Yes, Josh Reddick. Good. Yeah.
He was so good for them too, which was funny because like he left Boston and they weren't sure what he was going to be, and then he was lights out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Who's missing from the 2018 Red Sox opening day lineup?
This was such a good team. That outfield was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I know this one because my original thought was it was going to be Brock Holt, the super utility guy.
Right.
but it isn't. It's Eduardo Nunez,
It
who
is.
used to drive me crazy
Yeah.
because he would be so good and then so bad.
Yeah. Yep. Eduardo Nunez. Good. Who's missing from the 2019 Nationals opening day lineup?
Oh, who was Trey Turner's double play partner there?
So this guy came over from the Twins.
Oh, not who I was thinking.
And he was I would say a power hitting second baseman.
Oh, is this Brian starts with a D, right?
Yeah, you got it. Come on.
Oh my god, Brian. It's I can picture him.
You got him. I'll
Last
give
name
it to
starts
you.
with a D.
Yeah, I'll give you Brian
Dozier.
Dozier.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brian Dozier. I'll give it to you.
Oh yes, he could hit.
Yeah. All right. I skipped 2020 because that season doesn't exist in my mind, and the Dodgers won the World Series, so I did not do that one. So Here we go. On to 21. Who's missing from the 2021 Braves opening day lineup? This is a tough one because he does not play for the Braves anymore.
In 2021.
Really fast guy. I think he actually outfield platoons with the Phillies now.
Oh. Really fast guy.
This is a tough one. Unless you're a Braves fan, then you probably.
I'll say Braves fans are screaming at right now, going, I know who it is.
Yeah.
Zuna Acuna. Who was between them? Oh boy.
This is Christian Pache.
Oh yeah, I never would have gotten him.
Yeah.
But I remember him as more of I remember his utility guy there.
Yep. But I'm pretty sure he's with the Phillies now.
I think you're right. Yeah, and he's again a utility guy. He has been a utility guy most of his career.
Yeah.
But he can run. Absolutely can run.
Yeah, absolutely. So
some of those were tough, man.
Yeah, those ones were not easy.
And it's hard because it's opening day lineup. It's great. Well, who played for a month and got hurt and then missed the rest of the season that I can forget about.
Right. All right. So I got some blurred trivia and regular trivia here. And then we'll go from there. All right. So here we go. First one, played from 92 and then 1994 to 2001 for the Tigers, Mets, Phillies, Red Sox, and Braves. 106 career home runs, a negative 1.1 WAR. Bats left, throws left, first baseman. Who is this? You randomly brought his name up last week, and it killed me.
Did I really?
So I had to put him in.
Oh, man. I hate it when I do that because then I never remember who I brought up.
Yep.
This is going to bother me now.
Yep. This is a great one. This is obscure.
I love obscure.
You pulled this name out, and I was like, yes. And I think I did it immediately when you.
Jeremy Giambi?
Nope. Even more obscure than him.
Even more? Oh, goodness gracious.
This is.
Oh, I did bring him up, man.
Yeah.
It totally was Rico Brogna. I totally did bring him up.
Yep. So I had to throw.
We were making an R roster, and I threw his name out there, and you were like, "What?"
Yep. I loved it.
Kills me. I did bring him up.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Played from 2000 and then a 3-year gap, 2003 to 2012 for the Padres, Mets, Pirates, Yankees, Cubs, D-backs, Nationals, Giants, and Padres.
Played everywhere.
Played everywhere. 2012 World Series with the Giants, 104 career home runs, right fielder and first baseman. Who is this? Now, I brought this guy up when I said we were going to do the rosters for Q, X, and Y, and Z.
Oh, is this Xavier Nady?
It is Xavier Nady.
Yeah. I remember Xavier Nady.
Yeah, Xavier Nady. I remember him with the Pirates mostly, but a little bit with the Yankees too. But
yeah, he was kind of one of those guys that bounced around. He was always kind of good enough to be there.
Yeah. All right. Played from 2005 to 2017 with the Blue Jays, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Red Sox, and Giants. One-time All-Star in 2009, Silver Slugger in 09 and 2012. Second, third, and shortstop.
Wow.
Who is this? I remember him mostly with Toronto, to be completely honest, just because I think I saw him all the time facing the Red Sox. But who
makes
is
sense.
this?
You're listing off the teams. I was like, man, this looks like Shea Hillenbrand, but
No, not Hillenbrand.
Second, third, short.
Mostly second base when he was with Toronto.
Scroll back up real quick. Blue Jays, Diamondbacks, Brewers. It's an odd career profile.
Yeah. This is.
Oh, yes. I do remember Aaron Hill with the Blue Jays.
Yeah. Aaron Hill. Yeah,
he was streaky good.
Yep, for sure. All right. Next one. Played from 2005, 2011 with the White Sox and the Red Sox. Two-time All-Star, 2005 World Series with the White Sox, and he's a relief pitcher. Who is this?
Oh, God. Is that Bobby Jenks?
It is Bobby
Jenks.
Yes,
it is.
Nice.
I used to love him. He was such a mess.
Yep. Bobby Jenks.
He threw gas.
Yep, absolutely.
It's funny. There's there's just those players that like pop out. It's like, boom, immediately know it's Bobby Jenks. I have no reason to think of Bobby Jenks.
No. Only wore socks in his career. That's crazy. But White Sox and Red Sox. That's it.
That's it.
All right. Played from 98 to 2005 and then 2007 to 2012 with the Expos, Marlins, Yankees, Indians, and Twins. One-time All-Star, 2003 World Series with the Marlins, and starting pitcher. Who is this?
Oh, interesting. Scroll back up real quick. Expos, Marlins. Is that Levon?
Nope. I would focus mostly on the Marlins and Yankees. And he was part of that 2003 Marlins rotation with Beckett and all.
So not Annabelle Sanchez.
No.
Let's go in a totally different direction with this one.
This one is.
Oh, and I mentioned him a couple weeks ago too. Most losses in the decade. Carl Pavano was terrible in New York.
Yep, Carl Pavano.
Oh, he was like epically, historically bad.
Yep.
The Expos should have given that one away because that was it was a weird career path.
Yeah. All right. Played from 2011 and then 2013 to 2021 with the Yankees and Mets. Four-time All-Star and a reliever. Who's this?
Only Yankees and Mets?
Only Yankees and Mets.
Interesting.
He threw absolute cheddar. And he was he came in after Rivera retired, and he was a young guy and threw hard. DB are his initials.
Oh, is this Betances?
It is Dalen Betances. Yeah.
One of the guys that kind of gets forgotten.
Yeah. Dalen Betances. All right. Played from 2011 to 2012, and then a big gap, 2017 to 2020, with the Blue Jays, Mariners, Brewers, and Nationals. 31 home runs in 2017 with the Brewers. First base and outfield. Now, that 5-year gap, I'm pretty sure he went to Japan to play because he couldn't quite figure it out. So that's your hint. But he was like a big power hitter for the Brewers. It is Eric Thames. Nice job, Harrison. Yeah, Thames.
Yeah, I mean, the dude just like disappeared. He was gone, then came back and was an absolute monster.
Yeah. Like physically. And
like everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Crazy. Yeah.
I can get Eric Thames, but I can't get Carl Pavano. Come on,
it happens, man.
It's sometimes there's just like a blind spot.
Yep. All right, play from 2005, 2006, and then a gap 2008, 2019 for the Twins, White Sox, Pirates, Blue Jays, Astros, Tigers, and then Pirates again.
Wow.
One-time All-Star, and I guess 20,117 World Series with the Astros. Little typo there.
Yeah, that's fine.
And starting pitcher. Who is this? This guy I mostly remember being the number 2 pitcher behind Johan Santana in Minnesota.
I was just gonna say I know exactly what it is. His last name starts with like L.
Yeah.
I can picture him. His last name starts with L.
San Francisco.
Oh, Francisco Liriano.
Yes.
Thank you.
Francisco Liriano.
Like, I can picture the guy.
Yep. Francisco Liriano.
He was right behind Santana. They were a nasty 1-2 punch for a while.
Yeah, both from the left side too. Goodness.
Nasty.
Yeah. All right. That's it for Blurred Trivia. I got a few trivia questions here, and here we go. Hopefully these aren't crazy tough, but I think there's a couple tough ones in there.
Yeah, and I got no Sean here with me, so.
Yeah. All right. Who allowed the most hits, 15, in a game while still throwing a shutout?
Oh, good Lord.
This is a guy way back in the day.
Oh, great. Like, well-known guy?
Yeah, well-known guy.
Not like Tippy Fairbanks from 1908?
No.
Okay.
It might have been that year, but not Tippy Fairbanks.
Oh, that feels like some crazy stat from like a Walter Johnson or a Cy Young or a.
Yeah, it's Walter Johnson.
Is it Walter? Because
Yeah.
like that's the only era I can think of where you can give up 15 hits. They're probably all singles.
Dude, 15 hits and still throw a shutout. That's like almost statistically impossible.
You would think. I mean, in a 9-inning game, that's almost 2 hits per inning. Like you'd think at some point somebody's bound to score.
It's bonkers to me. Absolutely
Crazy.
Bonkers.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. All right.
That's so many hits.
Which pitcher has given up the most home runs in their career?
Oh.
This guy pitched forever. We've had him
John Wasden.
No, we've also had him in a trivia question before.
Nolan?
Nope.
I loved anytime a guy's pitched a long time, I throw his name out there.
Just about as long as Nolan.
Oh.
But our era. One of your favorite commercials ever.
Oh, the Chick Stick Long Ball commercial?
Nope, that one is the best commercial
I was
ever.
going to say, that's the best one ever.
The Kilometers radar gun.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, Jamie Moyer.
Yeah, it's Jamie Moyer. 522 home runs.
So many home runs.
Dude, that's a lot.
Oh,
that's
my
crazy.
goodness. That's so many home runs.
So many. All right. Which player has started the front end of 2 5-4-3 triple plays in the same game?
Modern era?
Yeah, modern era. It was against the Red Sox.
Oh, you'd be kidding me. So 5-4-3. So third baseman.
Yep.
Like after like 1990 or before 1990?
After 1990. I think actually it happened in 1990.
Oh, great.
Pretty well-known guy, I would say. This one is...
Oh, Gaetti?
Oh, yes, Gary Gaetti. He turned 7 triple plays in his career. They call him the triple play king.
Yeah, as I'm thinking, like, oh wait, Gaetti, he's turned a bunch of these.
7. That's nuts.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think they said, I read it was like he's been involved in like 49% of the triple plays ever turned or something like that. It was some ridiculous number. Yeah.
The other day, this day in baseball video popped up and it was John Valentin's unassisted triple play with the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Catch a line drive, step on second, tag the runner. That one still to this day, people are like, what just happened? Because it was so fast.
Yeah. It's so cool. But all right. Next one. Which three pitchers have the most consecutive seasons with 20 or more starts?
All right. So who has got consistency, durability? Any of these guys modern?
Yeah, I think you could get all of these guys.
Oh,
one of them's pitched forever that you guessed first a couple questions ago. All-time strikeout leader.
So Nolan's
one.
20 or more starts. Clemens?
Nope. Atlanta Braves.
Maddox?
The third one's a lot tougher. But you definitely know who he is.
Most consecutive seasons with 20 or more.
I would say mostly known for the Dodgers.
Like what era?
We got 60s to 80s. It is Don Sutton.
Oh, Don Sutton. Okay, not a name I would have thought of.
No, but you definitely know who he is.
I definitely know who he is, yeah, but not a guy I would have thought of.
22 seasons of 20 or more starts in their careers.
Wow.
Consecutive. So
that's crazy.
No. Yeah. All right. Who are the 4 Hall of Fame pitchers with losing records?
Oh, I feel like this should jump out, but it doesn't.
So 3 of them are relief pitchers because
duh.
Well, right, that makes sense. Then the other one is a Negro Leagues player that was, the oldest to ever pitch, they say.
Satchel.
So Satchel's 1. He was 28 and 31.
28 and 31. Like what a that dude won hundreds of games that are not recorded.
Yep.
All right, so Satchel Paige. So relievers, so it's got to be your higher end closers. So like, a lot of those guys kind of lucked into wins. So let's think about a guy like Gossage.
Nope, that's a good guess. Brewers closer there for a while. Epic mustache. I mean, probably the best mustache of Major League history.
Oh, Raleigh.
Yeah, Raleigh Fingers was 114 and 118.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
This guy and pitched around the same time that Lee Smith did. So Lee Smith was on the Cubs. This guy was on the Cardinals, and then they seemed to like almost switch.
Not Quisenberry.
No, before that.
I know before that. Oh, you're killing me, Nick. I know who it is too.
It's Bruce Sutter.
Oh yes, thank you.
And then the last guy, like the best Padres closer of all time,
Hoffman.
Yeah, Trevor Hoffman, 61 and 75.
Oof.
But look at that stash, dude. I mean, it's the best.
It's funny you said best stash ever, and I'm like Rod Beck. Oh wait, nope, not
also up there.
Yes, also
top 5 for sure.
Also deserves some consideration, but no, Raleigh Fingers. That was the best stash ever.
All right, who was the last Triple Crown winner to not win MVP in that season?
I feel like it was Miggy.
No. I mean, you're gonna give the Triple Crown winner the MVP in the modern era. Who had a ridiculous streak going, like that people say will never be broken again? Hitting streak. So
DiMaggio?
Yep. So DiMaggio won the MVP. But who won the Triple Crown that season?
Oh.
Best Red Sox of all time.
It's got to be Ted then.
It is. He lost by 1 vote.
No.
Yep, 1947. Lost to DiMaggio by one.
We said
vote.
DiMaggio, like, so it's got to be Ted Williams. That's the only other person in that era. But I could have sworn Ted won it when he had the Triple Crowns. All right,
So
that's amazing to win the Triple Crown and not get the MVP.
crazy, right? Absolutely nuts.
Man, oh man.
Okay. Who was the last Hall of Fame player to make the final out in a World Series?
Ugh.
This goes back to 2000, which was the Subway Series, I believe.
I was just gonna say it's got to be the Subway Series then, right? Because
Yeah.
01 was the Yankees D-backs.
Yep. So this is Mets. So who would be a Hall of Fame player on the Mets that would make the final out that year?
Piazza?
It is Mike Piazza. Yep. Nice one.
Wow.
Yep. All right. I think I got a couple more here. This one's kind of cool.
No.
This one's tough, but it's pretty cool. Who are the 5 Hall of Famers that also played for the Harlem Globetrotters?
Oh my God, I have no idea.
This one's a really, really cool one. I'll walk you through this one.
All right.
Best Cardinals pitcher, arguably one of the best pitchers to ever play the game. They changed the game because of him.
Oh, Gibson.
Shortstop for the Cubs back in that day.
Ernie
Banks. Ricky Henderson broke this guy's stolen base record. Played for the Cardinals. Outfielder. Crazy fast, left-handed batter.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know. I'm drawing a complete blank.
Lou Brock.
Thank you. Lou Brock. Yep.
Pitcher for the Cubs, like back in that day. Really, really good. We've had him on a couple trivia questions before.
Pitcher for the Cubs back in that day.
Mm-hmm. I think he was actually on a trivia question we had last week. Can't remember exactly which one it was. He won the Cy Young in 71.
Oh my God, I don't.
It's Fergie Jenkins.
Oh yeah, Fergie Jenkins. We did have Fergie Jenkins in a trivia question.
Yep. And then the last one is the oldest pitcher to ever play, supposedly.
So Satchel.
Yeah, Satchel. So pretty cool. Yep. So
wow.
Those guys, I'll play for the Harlem Globetrotters. They probably weren't on there long, but they still played
for
the
Harlem Globetrotters. Those were some seriously good athletes, so it only makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I always forget about Lou Brock. Like I just blank on him.
Yep. All right, this is the last one I got. Who was the first battery to hit grand slams in the same game?
Oh, wow. I read that wrong the first time. I was like, who's the first batter to hit grand slams in the same game? Like, that makes no sense, Nick.
No, the first battery.
First battery. Oh, wow.
So think of good hitting pitchers not that long ago. And these are San Francisco Giants colors, which might give it away here.
I know. I'm trying to think. So is Posey one of them?
Posey's one.
Bumgarner?
Yes. Yep. Posey and Madison.
I forgot about Bumgarner could hit. That guy could legitimately hit. Like they would pinch hit him in games sometimes.
Yeah, he could rake. Absolutely rake. So that's pretty wild. Cool. All right. To end the show here, we'll go over our all-time teams. So we'll just go around the horn. Who you think at each position here? So at catcher, who do you got?
Basically for our after 2000, I've got Russell Martin.
I think that's got to be the only one. I cannot think of another R catcher. I got him and I got Ryan Lavarnway, and that's not doing it.
Ryan Lavarnway.
Yeah, it's gotta be Martin. It's gotta be Martin. I can't think of another R, and there's got to be one out there, but I can't think of another one off the top of my head.
No, I mean there's probably somebody we're forgetting about, but I can't for the life of me think of any anybody else.
No, post 2000. That's a hard one. All right, first base. Who you got?
First base, I took Rafael Palmeiro.
I
know he was a juicer. I get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Ryan Howard then to be different.
Yep,
I'll take Ryan Howard at first base.
I took Ryan Howard at DH, so because I wanted him in the lineup somewhere.
I got a couple others. I got a sleeper for DH, and you're gonna love it.
All right, so second base.
I have Roberto Alomar because I feel like that's the right pick there. But I also have Ray Durham.
Oh, Ray Durham. Yeah, I had Robinson Cano.
Okay, another juicer. So all juice lineup.
It's an all juice lineup. It's fine. It's fine. We're sponsored by Snapple.
Yeah, it's all good. I think it's got to be Alomar there.
I mean, he's not just like best of that era, but one of the best of all time. Like Roberto Alomar was at another level.
Yeah. All right. Third base.
I took Robin Ventura. I don't love the pick, but he was so good all around.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Rafi Devers.
I mean, not a bad pick.
No. I'm gonna take Rafi Devers there.
Yep.
Yeah, I have Robin Ventura on my list too, but I think Rafi's gonna have a better career overall than Ventura.
I think he ends up being the better player. Ventura was just like incredibly consistent, good on both sides of the ball. Couldn't fight, but
yeah. All right. How about at shortstop? This is an interesting one here because I got 3 names on the list here, and I don't know who I would take.
So I took my favorite underrated shortstop of all time. That's Rafael Furcal.
That's a great one.
He had speed. He used to do that, like, I'll fake the bunt and slap it down your throat. Yep. But he was just like a gritty ball player, He did a little bit of everything.
Got to watch him every day too with that TBS.
Right.
That was awesome.
And he had a cannon for an arm on a small guy.
Yep. I have a couple guys. We talked about it last week when we got off the show. Was Rich Aurelia was one.
Yeah.
And then Ray Ordonez is the other one. Defensively, that dude was a wizard.
He was
so good defensively. So, I mean, I'll take Aurelia because he could hit. But
yeah, Aurelia had a stretch of a number of years where he was just elite.
Yeah.
Elite.
All right. 3 outfield spots, Harrison. Who do you got?
My 3 outfielders are Ryan Braun, Ronald Acuna, and Ricky Henderson. Because, of course, Ricky played in like every decade there was.
Yeah, since baseball's existed.
Basically, yeah. I mean, he and Tippy Fairbanks were starting it off back in the 1900s.
Yeah. Those are the 3 that I have at the front. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I do have some honorable mentions. You got Raul Mondesi. Mm-hmm. You got Ray Langford. Reggie Sanders was good.
He was.
Raul Ibanez.
Highly underrated.
Highly underrated. Such a great player. And then I have a guy that's playing right now, Riley Green. So those are the only R's I could think of.
Good young player.
But you have to have those 3. I think it's Ryan Braun, Ronald Acuna, Ricky Henderson. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I don't know who else you'd pick over them.
And of course, you take Braun because he's also a juicer. So
right. I mean, I gotta stay consistent here.
I also had Raimel Tapia on my list as well. So you're welcome, Rockies fans.
Yeah. Famous for getting inside the park home run on the fly ball that Jaron Duran lost.
Yep. Brutal. All right. DH.
I got Ryan Howard.
All right. I got 2 names that I might take over him. Well, I have Ryan Howard at first. So I got Richie Sexson.
Oh, I used to love Richie Sexson.
Yep. And then I have Ruben Sierra.
Oh, another guy.
Yeah, and he was pretty much strictly DH there.
He was
towards the end of his career. So
he was one of the few like original DHs. Yeah. I had Richie Sexson originally, then I crossed him out and put Ryan Howard in at DH. I used to love to watch Richie Sexson hit. He had those really long arms and like the really short bat, and he just had this crazy bat whip and it would just hit bombs.
Absolutely not. Yeah, and he was like what 6'7", 6'8", like he was
6'7". He was huge.
He was big
boy. But he was like rail thin. Like
Yeah,
it was not
absolutely.
not heavy, just tall.
No. Okay, side note, dude. I went out to breakfast this Saturday, speaking of tall dudes, and we were in Elon. So right next to Elon University is a restaurant.
Oh yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
this guy walks in and he's 6'8", and I go, dang, dude, like he's tall. No joke. 5 minutes later, this other dude comes in, has to bend over to get through the door, and then stands up. He was 7'4". I've never seen anybody. 7'2" is the tallest. 7'4". I was
Does he play
blown.
basketball there or something? Like, what's he
Yeah,
doing?
he just committed to Elon. He's from Utah, but
Holy
holy
cow!
Hannah, 7'4". I couldn't believe it. I was like, you are the biggest human I've ever seen in my life.
That's
Absolutely
crazy.
massive. Yeah. So, all right, back to the R's here. Starting pitcher, I think there's really only one answer for this, to be completely honest. Who is it?
Roger Clemens.
Okay, it's not where I thought you were going with that, but I mean,
who you got?
Well, of course you got the juicer.
I got to go with the juice guys. Come on, man.
Yeah, makes sense. It's Roy Halladay for me.
I mean, I guess he's okay too.
Yeah, also a Hall of Famer, but
yes,
you can't go wrong with Clemens or Halladay.
If I had to pick, though, I mean, I would probably take Doc at his peak, but
yeah,
I mean, body of work, yeah, it's Clemens.
I also honorable mention R.A. Dickey.
Yes, the knuckleballer.
You gotta
love it.
50-50 shot every time he took the mound, but hey.
Yeah. Well, he had that one season, man, where he was untouchable. Other than that, he was pretty much an average pitcher.
And then you signed a free agent deal to throw your knuckleball indoors in the Sky Dome. What are you doing?
I know.
What are you doing?
I will never understand what made a knuckleball pitcher think he could go pitch indoors. You need the airflow. Like, you can't go pitch. Tim Wakefield was terrible in domes.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any airflow. You need the air.
Absolutely brutal.
I remember when he signed that contract, I just went, what? Like, you're gonna go where?
Dude, go to Chicago or somewhere where
do you not understand?
Windy.
Yeah. Do you not know how your pitch works? Like, holy cow.
Can't. All right. Relief pitcher. And I'm gonna take this one. And I really wish Sean was here to hear me say this one.
Oh boy.
And all my Facebook friends that saw all these statuses about this guy last year when he took the mound. Ryan Brazier.
I know who you're taking.
Ryan Brazier. But not really. I'm taking Rich Garces. El Guapo.
Oh, the handsome.
Yep, let's go.
Yeah, I had two. I had Ryan Madsen.
That's a
who was really good for the Phillies, and then I had Rafael Soriano, who was another, high velocity arm talent kind of guy.
Yep. All right, and who do you got closing out games?
Closing out, I got my favorite closer from the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, back in the days of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, Roberto Hernandez. Closed out a boatload of games for a lot of teams. And I think we lost Nick. There he is.
I'm here. I don't know why it just keeps cutting out. It's
ridiculous. So that was weird. So Roberto Hernandez, that was my pick.
Okay, that's a great one. I'm going with two guys that are currently playing right now, Ryan Helsley or Ryan Presley. Those are
both of which are great.
Two. Yeah, so
both
kind of boring picks. They're boring picks, but that's who I got.
I mean, not a lot of options there on the table. As common a letter as R is, there weren't as many to pick from as I hoped.
No, absolutely not. It was
I actually think J was easier, and I never thought that'd be the case.
Yeah, especially behind the plate. I really struggled with that one. Like, I spent a lot of time on, probably more than I should, embarrassingly so. And I'm sure we're missing somebody. But
there's got to be somebody, and I hope that somebody corrects us and tells us who we missed, because
there's
got to be more than the one we came up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or I guess two if you count Ryan Lavarnaway, who played for like a minute.
Right, if that. But all right. Do you have anything real quick before we wrap it up tonight?
Real quick, MLB draft is going on. Last couple of days, been some really great picks taken. You had Bazana taken first overall, Australian kid playing for Oregon State. But more importantly, Tommy Tanks, Nick's favorite guy, got taken in the second round of the draft by the Oakland Athletics of Las Vegas, of Sacramento.
So he'll be there at the end of this year, probably.
He'll be playing by the end of the season. Yeah, he might be up there. He'll be a starter by September 1.
Goodness gracious.
But Tommy Tanks to the Athletics of Vegas, of Sacramento, of the West Coast.
That organization. That's going to be a whole show at some point here, but
I hope they do like a behind the scenes so we can see all this chaos ensue.
I would totally watch that.
Because it's a total mess.
All over it. But all right. Anything else?
That's it for this week.
All right. Before you go, make sure that you like and follow us on Facebook. You can also follow us on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And we will see y'all next Monday at 8 p.m. Enjoy the All-Star game tomorrow and the end of the Derby. And we will see you next